We're going to keep you on your toes tonight so you're not going to be sure what's going to happen next.
Yehuda Amichai is one of my favorite Israeli poets. If you have been around for a while and paying attention, you have heard more than one of his poems from this bima. You might even have heard this one. It is called Poem Without an End. And the title is enough to warrant an inclusion on this night we call the last Amen at 1901. Because to put it simply, it's definitely not the final Amen, not for Temple Israel, not for this congregation, not for any of us.
And that idea that there is no true ending lives not only in poetry, but something we are living right now. Tonight, we, the Temple Israel family, stand at a special moment in our shared journey. We are building on the past while looking ahead to the future. We affirm tonight, everyone here is a stakeholder.
And that is worthy of the word that gives this night its name, Amen. Amen, the word itself, comes from the Hebrew root aleph mem nun, and its essential meaning is to be faithful or to be firm. It is an affirmation of that which went before it, like, so be it, like this night. This night is an affirmation of all that has gone before. It is more of a celebration of all that this space has meant to each of us, and equally a confirmation of how good it has been. That includes the sad and the poignant, the last goodbyes to people we loved. That encompasses the coming of age celebrations, the moments of change and growth. That embraces the times we have learned together, argued together, laughed and cried together, and sang and prayed together. The operative word being together.
The word together is not incidental. It's the heart of who we are as a synagogue. We've said it before, but it's worth repeating tonight. At the heart of our vision for this community is a simple truth. It's carried Temple Israel for more than 100 years. Our strength is our people, together. Through last year's visioning process, we affirmed what we already knew. Our greatest treasure is not our building, it's not our programming, it's not even our history. It's our relationships. It's the connections we share that gives Temple Israel its soul. And if that's true, that means each of us is an investor in our today and our tomorrow. Each of us sitting in this room, every single person online, has a role to play. We are better together.
And let me tell you how I learned that lesson, personally and early on. The first time I entered this sanctuary was in the summer of 1980. I was interviewing for this position, and Dick Sugarman and Kurt Layton were showing me the plant. Many of you know this, and Michael reiterated it. You entered from Flagler Drive, and the bima was facing west. I hate to be critical, but there was a fountain outside on Flagler Drive, and it wasn't on. Water shortage, they told me. I hate to be picky, but there were artificial flowers rimming the bima, and it was stifling hot. Electric bills, they told me. I really shouldn't say this, but I'm about to. There was an emeritus rabbi who came into the building daily. And had an office that was bigger than the active rabbi. What can you do? They told me. And then there were the things they didn't tell me. The rabbi who was supposed to succeed the Rabbi Emeritus had formed his own temple and splintered the congregation. There were families not talking to each other. The decision not to allow the assistant rabbi to take over had been very contentious. And most of all, they didn't tell me putting this congregation back together was not going to be easy. But this is what I learned. Easy is overrated. Change is hard work, and it takes more time than you think. And this is what time taught me. No one can do it alone.
Here's the truth. This congregation has known and successfully navigated change many times before. Allow us to remind you of Rabbi Shapiro's final Kol Nidre sermon in this sanctuary before becoming Rabbi Emeritus. He said, "It's not a secret. It is a time of change at Temple Israel. For some people, change is tough. But this is what I want you to know. I would like you to remember who you are," he said. As the first Jewish organization in Palm Beach County, you and your membership gave birth to the major Jewish institutions that make up life in the Palm Beaches.
You have stood as the welcoming face of the Jewish people here on Flagler Drive for 103 years. You are the address for social action here in this community. You are the Jewish library. You have given birth to rabbis, to educators, to Jewish professionals. You have been mother and father, and you have done well for this people Israel. That, my friends, is both Temple Israel's legacy and how we will navigate the many unknowns still ahead of us in this next year and in the years ahead. We will hold tight to the values upon which this congregation was founded and what we have always been known for. We are a values-driven, consequential community rooted in our unique approach to Jewish life and welcoming to all.
So what does that legacy ask of us now in this moment of transition? We are here tonight to remind you of what you have heard each of us say from this bima countless times before. While the future is always ripe with potential, the challenge before us always is whether we believe enough in ourselves to achieve our dreams. As our prayer book reads, standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai. There is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness.
Often difficult, and sometimes really scary. Change and transition is not always pleasant. However, when we hold fast to our values on which this congregation was founded, anything is possible. We will navigate the road ahead because we will remain grounded in our core values, committed to a shared vision, and united by common purpose. As the prayer concludes, there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands and marching together.
I know this to be true because I did not walk this road alone. I was lucky. I had a supportive spouse who quickly understood that if she didn't renew her teacher's license and get Florida certified, she would become an unofficial employee of the congregation, thus saving our marriage.
Working with your spouse.
I was lucky. I had 2 children who adapted to the Palm Beaches, even if they did so somewhat reluctantly. I was lucky. I had committed leadership who understood we need to listen to each other and forge a united front we all could live with. But I don't want you to get the wrong impression. It's not like we always agreed on everything and we moved forward. There were many late-night board meetings dealing with the issues like an Israeli flag on the bima, or who can wear a kippah, or budget, budget, budget. But I was lucky. I had devoted leaders who had the past, present, and future of this synagogue in their hearts.
What we have lived here is not new. It is as old as our Torah. As we read at the beginning of this week's Torah portion, Ele Shemot B'nai Yisrael, these are the names of the children of Israel. As we set out into the second book of Torah, the beginning of our people's story of slavery and redemption, the portion's opening words remind us that central to our story are the people. B'nai Yisrael, the people of Israel. Not the cities they built or the structures that defined their surroundings, but the people themselves. So too, in our own time, it is not a sanctuary that makes us holy. We are the ones who breathe life into sacred space. Our story begins and endures not because of where we are, but because of who we are together.
And this brings us back to the poem Without an End. Yehuda Amichai writes, inside the brand new museum, there's an old synagogue. Inside the synagogue is me. Inside me, my heart. Inside my heart, a museum. Inside the museum, a synagogue. Inside it, me. Inside me, my heart. Inside my heart, a museum.
It is called a poem without end, and the words of the poem may end on the page, but the author wants us to know that just as I am inside the synagogue, so the synagogue is inside me. There is no end. There is an evolution as our feelings become prayers for tomorrow and our memories become pathways to the future.
This sanctuary is now a part of us. No matter what color the carpets, or the pews, or the lights, it lives within us, inside our hearts, inside the past, as all of us stand on this threshold of tomorrow. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat shalom.